So there's no, when you set your priorities, sometimes your priorities go up and down, and they switch. And if there's federal and state money out there, it's good to position ourselves to be able to take advantage of that. Otherwise, if you look at the school situation, we can lose an opportunity there. We're trying to take advantage of it. This is pretty much the same thing, all right? We're trying to take advantage of some opportunities that are out there that we, as we sit here, can't possibly see. Somebody else, like the DPW, may not be looking for it. But someone could be out there saying, hey, there's this grant that's available. Maybe we can't get it, but if we let the DPW know about it, all right, we'll, you know, we can find somebody to do that. The whole point is you want to take advantage of opportunities. If you don't have someone out there looking at the best interest of the community voluntarily, then you have no opportunity. So that's what we're looking for. So, you know, I'll take a consensus of the board. If the board, you know, chooses to go this way, I think you'll make an awful lot of people in the community very happy with this idea, all right? And we'll be able to proceed. If you don't think it's a good idea, then you really, and I'll be candid here, I think you're turning your back on an awful lot of seniors, an awful lot of our youth, by saying that your safety right now is not a priority to us, all right? That's really what you're saying, because we got to concentrate on the school, on a building, a school. We have to concentrate on other issues, not human issues, such as safety.
That's an unfair statement. I'm sorry. You know what, Jeff? This is a vote of no confidence.
You want this to be an argumentative thing?
No,
or
but you shouldn't say those things because it's unfair. Because to me, you can reverse it and say you have a vote of no confidence in our, say, public safety. You have no confidence in our DPW, no confidence in our CPC, Jeff. I could turn around and say that, and that's not nice either. So I would ask you to just think about what we're saying. We're not saying it's a bad idea. At least I am. I'm just saying, look at what you have out there. Look at the amount of people that are in charge, the leadership we have, the work they have ahead of them, and they're really smart people that know this stuff. Okay, and we can motivate them. We can put our concerns in writing and present it to our town administrator, and I'm sure that we may take a little iteration back and forth, but let people lead. Let them take the responsibility forward. We don't need to create more work when we have a tremendous amount of committees that need help. We need these same people to help us with many other issues.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Mr. Jones.
Just an institutional historical comment. This issue came up a few years back when I was on the Finance Committee, and it generated, one, because of lack of money, but also we started instituting cell towers. And the cell tower money was just money that flowed into general revenue. It wasn't dedicated to anything. And it came down to the two best uses, if it were to be dedicated, might be roads and or sidewalks. I hesitate to say it didn't happen, but it didn't, because by doing that, it handcuffed certain people as to what they could do with that money. So, if you want to revisit this in some way, I would relook at cell tower money in whole or part to fund sidewalks. Because one of the reasons back then, other than public safety, which was really the second reason, the first reason was sidewalks that might reduce bus costs, because we had more walkers beyond the state requirements, because there were really no sidewalks for them to walk on and safely arrive at school. Whereas if we improved the sidewalk system in town, we could perhaps generate more walkers and reduce bus costs. And I'm not too sure some of that isn't true today, and there may be other reasons. Pass that on to you.
Well, you know, clearly the cell tower revenue, I believe, was used to balance this year's budget. So.
Not this year, the last time.
That's what happened.
Mrs. Mullen.
I have to agree and disagree with a lot of you. I'm shocked that I might be backing Jeff on this one, and maybe not the other one, but if the selectmen choose that they don't want this committee, I can remember back 15 years ago when OUC was suggested, and I can remember Rec and CPC didn't think we needed it because we thought of a lot of things fell under recreation, CPC, or Concom. But to be honest with you, sometimes when you're on a particular group, you work on what is your priority, and you don't involve some of those things. So I think if you've got a group of people that are willing to look at it, and even though the leaders have, tried to get a lot of things accomplished, sometimes it doesn't because they fall through the cracks. But if you choose not to do it as a selectman, if you choose for some reason you don't want to do it, I think the same committee should go to either CPC and have it be an ad hoc, because Rex going to come in ad hoc under their, positions.
That's right.
So you go under CPC if the selectmen choose not to do it. So at least there's still a group that's coming back with the answers, that would go to CPC and then come to the selectmen. But I think to what Jeff is saying, there are a lot of people out there that one day they may be selectmen of a school committee, and sometimes you have to get started on a smaller committee, and it is a priority. So I think that, I'd like to see it happen. If it's not here, if you really choose it's not here, at least give Jeff the suggestion that he go to another group that picks it up as an ad hoc. Because you don't have to talk about it. The thing about some group like this is they're doing all the legwork. And the same thing if there is a grant available, if you do apply for a sidewalk grant, because we've looked at a lot of grants before. Remember, LUC got $1 million grant 10 years ago, and it wasn't written by CPC or anybody else. It was written by a couple of members of the LUC. It was a group that we didn't want. So I think it's important, because if there is a sidewalk grant available, they'll then go and say, do you have a committee that studied it as a part of your open space, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, Mrs. Mullin. I guess, go ahead.
I do want to get this to a finality, but I think on Mr. Jones's point and Ms. Mullen's point, I think it's a better fit if it's under CPC. In terms of Mr. Jones suggesting that we should have some funding mechanism, I think the better place to look would be Chapter 90 money. Take a portion of that and make a point of designating a certain portion of that to sidewalks. I think that would probably be one solution to this. Mr. Jones?
Just in relation to the Chapter 90 money, you'll be finding out when you run for re-election, as you walk the streets, they're in worse condition than they were 3 years ago. And the money doesn't go far enough to maintain
No, but
that
maybe
current
there's a portion-
infrastructure.
maybe
Never
there's-
mind never mind maintaining the sidewalks on some of those roads, but just the roadways themselves are deteriorating. and
I've
falling
sat here and listened to, some good arguments on both sides. Putting the concern aside of disappointing a group of volunteers that, put some effort in and they may not take it anywhere. What I've learned over the long haul is when you have people that are willing to work for a cause, generally they get something done. And, if the town doesn't have revenue to do sidewalks, and there are grants and federal funds out there, and you've got a bunch of people focused on it, not taking up any time of the board, per se, right? I can't see why it would stand in the way of it. I really can't, It's not like, we have to do anything, short of taking input from them at some point in time and maybe, making a decision, yay or nay, on an idea. But, if it was like the FAC, we had a group of, at the time, volunteers that wanted to put a lot of effort. Now, maybe in the process of communication, they felt that their work went for naught and a lot of them left. But, it seems to me that the way things get done is one person, Rita Mullen, turf field, drives everybody nuts, right, but gets it done, right? Why discourage it if it's not something that we have to have on our agenda every week? So I'd like to get it off our agenda and approve Jeff's proposal.
I don't have a,
But
I don't have a
still, if we're gonna do that, I don't want the snow removal bylaw to be part of their charge. I want our people in town hall to handle the issue. We don't need an advisory committee to advise our people on how to implement whatever we're looking to do. We need to give some direction to the administration and say, let's get it done. We don't need a whole nother set of people.
I don't disagree with that, Steve.
Start from scratch. So remove that
That concerns me.
from the charge.
not,
Yeah, can be
That
done.
agreeable?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. The reason why that was initially.
I know.
That started it, yeah, okay, let's not rehash
Yeah,
it.
we know. But again, from the get-go, I wasn't in favor of getting another advisory committee to advise me to how to implement a bylaw that we haven't been following.
But it does go on, it goes beyond implementation. It
Right.
needs to be rewritten.
Well, I mean, if,
But again, that needs to be in conjunction with our bylaws. Planning commission, you know? You know, hello? That's what they're there for.
yes,
It would be fine, I don't disagree. I told this to Mr. Yule the first time I talked to him, that having a committee looking at sidewalks and the safety of sidewalks, not all of what he's got here, some of this stuff is beyond what some people can do without some serious technical expertise, but if you have this little subcommittee running around or whatever, without any technical expertise or advice, or someone to give them direction, they could get themselves in trouble, I think. And I suggested originally with Ms. Eula, send them to us, we'll put a, if you guys support it, we'll put a subcommittee together under us and have them run with this, doing just what you said, but then they have technical expertise at hand. We
oh, I'm
actually
glad you're
have-
stepping up to the. Yeah,
Perfect.
Perfect.
We actually, if you remember, when the four of you, Mr. Briscoe wasn't here, we interviewed with,
Get that in the minutes.
one of your adversaries. And we all chose Daniel Mills. He happens to be a traffic engineer. So we actually have some real expertise, not just expertise from us doing it over and over again. We have engineering expertise in-house.
All right.
And if you had formulated this committee, I was gonna suggest he get on it as our liaison, but I think a committee under us, a subcommittee, and it could be smaller. And I think a handicapped person, a disabled person should be on it, not just, no slight to you,
It's
ma'am.
fine.
Because we know the rules for sidewalks, the ADA law, we know that, and we know how well the state violates their own laws.
It doesn't
But
include,
that's
it doesn't
what we
include
do.
telephone poles in the middle of the
Right,
sidewalk.
and they're not 5 feet wide, and the curbs don't come. So, we know that law. I think the disabled person is more important for that than an able person who knows the law, because we can look the law up. I think the planning commission would be, glad to sponsor that committee.
Chris, so how do you propose we go forward? We just make a recommendation to,
I think you should, and then I'll speak with the committee tomorrow night. We have a meeting tomorrow night. Mr. Briscoe, if you'd like to come. And Mr. Yule,
Yes.
you're welcome. 7:30 is our start time, a little later. So, yeah, we'll discuss it tomorrow night, a little bit, and then, we'll go from there.
comfortable
You know,
with that?
Oh, very much.
If I'm just gonna say something, I think the whole purpose here is really to get a committee going, such as this. The venue may not be as important. The point is you get a committee going that's going to be addressing, the needs of the community. So if we can work closely with the CPC, so be it, okay?
Okay.
But I think we can progress in that regard.
So I anticipate that there'll be a discussion tomorrow night, and you will be present. and-
Absolutely. Oh, it's a wonderful idea.
And we'll move on to the next agenda item.
All right.
I take it the board is in support of the idea of the CPC.
I'd like to, yeah, but.
Approve the notice of lease with T-Mobile, Mr. Beliconis.
Board members, you have if you refer to the green sheet in your packet, number 9. You'll see that this just formalizes the lease agreement that was entered into by the town and T-Mobile back in September of 2009. You'll note that the lease period is through December 31st of 2019. There's additionally several extensions. The reason why this is formalized is it's a document that's recordable. Just to refresh the revenues for the town, we do receive $21,600 annually for this lease. And to respond to Mr. Jones's question earlier, these monies are allocated toward the general fund and divided between the town and the schools to offset our costs.